Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you gotta get spotted. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Markets were lower this week. On the open, almost 900 points, I think, on the Dow. What is it? I don't know what it is. Let's come over here and look. It's super crazy, guys. Super crazy stuff. There's the bonds. Look at the E-mini. Oh my gosh. Like, we had a big sell-off on Friday. Look at that. Oh, 33.40 down to almost 100 points on the S&P500. I think it's more like 80 points now. That is crazy, folks. Crazy stuff. Bonds up pretty significant clip too. Where does that put us, like, on daily basis? New high. New high. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that is just insane. So I think the piece of news that's really pushing the markets here is, first of all, there are, South Korea is like in full-on breakout now from coronavirus. And now we're getting cases in Italy. Uzi says, the world is on fire, yes. Good morning, both of you guys. But never fear, because you know what this looks like a job for? The plunge protection team. We should make like a super cool, like 80s style cartoon intro for the plunge protection team, you know, with like guitars and everything. When markets are freaking out, who comes to save the day? Plunge protection team. I'm telling you. So here, I'm gonna show you. This is like probably the most speculative thing I will ever say to you guys. Oh my gosh, let's refresh here. Warren Buffett interview live updates. Good ones, stocks drop, coronavirus impact. Where is it? Where is it? Where did he say it? Certainly would vote for Bloomberg. Oh, that's funny. Bank stocks are very attractive. Oh, well, that's good. Buffett said that while coronavirus outbreak is daunting for the human race, it shouldn't impact investors' portfolio decisions. It is scary stuff. I don't think it should affect what you do with stocks, but in terms of the human race, it's scary stuff when you have a pandemic, he said. Berkshire Hathaway's annual meeting is May 2nd, which Buffett said the coronavirus could very well impact. Listen, when Warren Buffett, he is a known plunge protection team member. He is a known member. When he's out there tucking at him, he's doing the thing. They're getting ready. I'm telling you. They're out there. Watch for it. Plunge protection team. Plunge protection team's gonna make a move, I think. Most speculative thing I think I've ever said. Oh, I don't want to go to Twitch. I want to go to Twitter. Stupid browser thing. Sorry about that. What do you guys think? Am I crazy? Should I sell my shares? I would, listen, if you're a long-term investor, I would not sell your shares. I would make sure that you have some good cash. I would make sure that you have some cash, and I don't know how low it goes, if today is the end of it or not, but I would be looking to buy. I mean, let's be honest, if it's like worst fears. Here's the thing is, I think that, what is the word? That they haven't been able to quarantine it or control it. Now it's in South Korea. Now it's in Europe. Once you get into Italy, I mean, listen, that's how the immigrants get there. I'm sure that the virus can have the same effect. It's just going to be everywhere. Could it come to the United States? I think that's a possibility we have to consider, but it's a possibility we've always had to consider, right? So, the worst case scenario is a possibility that it comes over to the United States and they have to shut down schools and things like that. But the question is still, okay, if that happens, what is the aggregate impact on stocks? And I don't know. Europeans' open border stuff is going to really kick them in the butt, right? I mean, it's just crazy to think about. I kind of find it interesting. One of the things I've been thinking about this morning, aside from the plunge protection team, I've been thinking that jingle in my head all morning, folks. And then you can have like these really cool animated pictures of like Warren Buffett and the Federal Reserve Chairman and everything. It'd be great. Freaking, we should do that. Go find me an animator.
Uzi Knesset says pandemics are just one of many reasons nations need borders. Lol.
Right. So if I could, I want to delve into conspiracy theory territory because it looks like the disinformation campaigns and propaganda outlets are all starting to pick up on the coronavirus thing and use it. And one of the theories that I'm starting to see coming out of China is that it actually is a weaponized virus and that it came from the United States. That's interesting, right? So they say that the United States released it because they weren't having success in the trade war, so they released a biological weapon. That's the conspiracy theory that I'm hearing now. Now, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. If the United States developed a super weapon of that type, they would already have a solution, right? They would already have a vaccine for it, I think. So I think that's just nonsense. But that's what the Chinese are trying to say. Now, the Chinese trying to say that kind of makes me think that, hey, maybe it wasn't a bat. Maybe these theories about that it escaped is maybe right.
Uzi Knesset says the US hasn't had success in trade with China for how many decades? Lol. It doesn't just magically start to matter. Lucas says so they released a weapon that's already hurting its market.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that there is a possibility. And it seems like that the Chinese are maybe starting to figure out, maybe they already know, but it might have been an accident. That it really was a weaponized thing. But it's not like, I don't know, when you look at it and how deadly it is and everything like that, you just got to remember, and this is the important thing for us trading, you just got to remember that a pandemic triggers people in a way that other things don't. It really makes people irrational, okay? And because of that, governments react to it accordingly. Not necessarily because it has a huge dangerous effect on their countries necessarily, but because people freak out and the government sees those times as an opportunity to show their worth, Like here in China, the Chinese absolutely 100% overreacted. And why did they overreact? Because they wanted to show the Chinese people that they're safe with the Communist Party in charge.
Uzi Knesset says these fucking dictatorship and a vast censorious policy across global media outlets make dealing with a pandemic 2 billion% harder. Fuck lol.
Well, I mean, the thing is I see all sorts of crazy stuff out there about this. How do you verify anything? It's just, you can't. Like, people say stuff. Okay, so it was an accident. Prove it. The U.S. government released it. Prove it. You can't. How do you prove it? You don't. It's just craziness. Okay, the E-mini is moving down. Moving down. Even on that upswing, it was a little questionable. I'm going to wait here. I don't think the plunge protection team is out yet. 7 points down in the last 10 minutes. Yeah. Well, I'm not seeing the bonds move, though. We might actually get a buy somewhere in here. Well, I have a banana. I should eat that. Oh wait, what do we got on news this week? Well, Chicago Fed National Activity Index at 6:30. Okay. Dallas
Uzi
Fed.
Knesset says I told a friend of mine who was freaking out about this shit a few days ago. I ain't a monster trader or anything, but I've been trading long enough to not let anything get to me. Lucas says I want to FOMO sell lol.
Yeah. So this is where I would say Lucas probably.
Uzi Knesset says all I know is to adapt and do my job.
I mean I don't know you. I don't know you personally that well. Like I've never spoken to you in person, but I'm going to guess that you rank somewhat low on openness. I'm going to guess. And so things like a virus or a market panic might get to you. Now, like the thing is I can't tell you exactly how to deal with it, but other than that, it's something that you should be aware of that things might. I'm the opposite. I think that I'm slightly open. All of the people around me are not, and I tend to underestimate the danger of something like a coronavirus, like a pandemic. I tend to underestimate how bad it is, and I think that the market in general is an open group of people and tends to I think as we've seen here this weekend, we underestimated it, right? But you got to sit there and think about that and go, okay, like my idea of what's going on is not reliable in this situation. So we really have to rely on good spots and everything else like that. This might give me a good spot. Let's eat this banana.
Uzi Knesset says you can both acknowledge how dangerous something is while still keeping a cool head and dealing with what's in front of you. Panicking doesn't help.
Mm. Well, I tell you what, the guys on Wall Street bets were definitely panicking. No? Maybe? Maybe? Fine.
Uzi Knesset says lol. Lucas says cool heads prevail in times of chaos. Uzi Knesset says my wife owns a cleaning company for God's sake. Trust me, I know how dangerous it is.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. I like that little push up, but it wasn't enough. I like this trade though. I got a good signal.
Minster Games says top of the morning to y'all lads.
Hey, welcome. New name. How are you today? Hmm. All right. Now that I'm done stuffing my face. Yeah, I don't know. It is pressure still seems up though. I don't know, but I have a good setup. I'm a little So I think this is a setup that I like to take.
Minster Games says do you think we might see gold push up to $1,700?
Oh man, you know what? You're asking the wrong guy for gold. Um I have to say 1700. I don't know. We might have already seen the high of the day in gold. I don't know. I think in the near term though, it's definitely a possibility. Yeah, that's no good. It looks like this trade is failing. Like it looked to me like what I was gonna say before you asked that question was, I liked that push up, but I wonder if I've already gotten everything that I could get out of the trade. Sure enough, it came back. Would have liked to have only taken 5 on that, but it happened a little too quickly. There is a little bit of a push there. Hmm. Okay, the Chicago National Activity Index came out. It was negative spot 25 versus an estimated negative spot 92, so better than expected. Hmm. So the problem that I have with gold and most of these risks, flight to safety assets right now is, um, well, for starters, they're moving sideways. But second of all, like they're parabolic. Like gold is very parabolic. Um, I don't think that kind of a move is sustainable. They have to, you know, they're gonna have to consolidate at least. But I'm not an expert in gold, so. Oh, there goes the treasuries. There is that 18.5 up there.
Lucas says oof. Lucas says I am already liking this session.
I'm mad about that short. Well, shouldn't be, but I'm tempted to take that one. Oh, look, they're still sweeping.
Uzi Knesset says I dunno if I'd be looking to buy any indices today lol.
I
Gary
wouldn't
Rich
rule
says
it
good
out.
morning.
I wouldn't rule it out. Well, like an overnight gap that big is anything can happen, They usually will fill in that gap. Like I don't think I've ever seen an ES gap not filled. It might take a week, but they always fill. They always fill. And yes, treasuries, I went back and I did a study.
Lucas says hey Gary.
And I could only find 2 instances in the history of like ever that an overnight or weekend gap didn't get filled. So don't completely rule out the idea that they will reverse.
Uzi Knesset says it may take a week sure, but you're not weak trading, are ya? Face with tongue.
No, but they could do it today. Get what I'm saying? Well,
Lucas says I'd expect the gap to get filled, but I feel there might be more to this move through the week.
and the thing you got to remember
Gamer
is,
Through the Ages says hey, just FYI, it's the 24th of February today.
oh yeah, I haven't changed my title. Let's fix that. I think I have a couple of days last week that I didn't fix it. Ah, look at that. So the problem you have, especially with an overnight move like this, is that there's a lot of people with short positions on. They have to unwind them, right? Well, and it's not like people are sitting here going, "Well, I've done the calculations, and I now that there are 5 cases in Italy, we know that global GDP will be decreased by X%." And nobody's doing that, right? People are just going, "Oh no, I'm panicked that there's a pandemic. Sell all the things." Right? So those are all short-term thinking. That means can come back. If somebody if they could calculate the impact, they could say this is what it's going to be and this is what the earnings should be and all that sort of a thing, then you would find that it will hold. Okay, I'm just noticing that in the ES, the liquidity is like incredibly low. $32.50 looks mighty attractive to me though. There it is. And it just gets all slow there now. That's interesting. Well, now that I've taken it, they're just going to sell the crap out of it. Watch.
Gary Rich says, I remember, Seth, you said Corona didn't matter about 2 weeks ago.
I still think that that it's a short-term impact, right? Like, I think when I say Corona doesn't matter, the thing that I question or that I am let's say I am doubtful. I don't want to say that it's not going to happen, but the thing that I am doubtful about is that coronavirus is going to lead to a worldwide recession. Or at least that it's going to lead to a recession in the United States. I'm very skeptical that coronavirus is going to lead to a recession in the United States. But this first quarter might be negative. And on the larger scheme of things, we totally traded the first spat of data correctly, didn't we?
Gary Rich says, okay.
I don't think you can say that it doesn't matter. I mean, if I ever said that it straight up doesn't matter, that was poor choice of words on my part, right? Because
Lucas says, I
people
believe
are
we are
freaked
in
out
a
about it.
situation where maybe everything can be taken as an excuse to go into a recession.
Right. Well, you definitely get into places where it's like, you know what? They were going to sell it one way or another and they just needed the right excuse, That definitely happens. Okay. So I kind of see some really patient players now trying to move it both up and down. The buyer made a couple of positive steps, but 32.50.25 is giving them difficulty. Okay. Now he pushes up. A few people stopped out there. Good. This one might have a little bit more legs, I think.
Gary Rich says, have you been reading my post on Discord?
Yeah, so I've been reading what you've been saying on Discord, but I've been having a hard time because I think that there's like a thesis there earlier back that I missed or something, because I don't completely understand why you're saying all the things that you are. I think maybe you might be saying, well, there was signs in the market this whole time that a big drop could come, right? Which is certainly, I don't know. Like, I think back up to Friday, right? Market didn't do anything until that news came out. And then when the news came out, the news was bad. Then we moved.
Gary Rich says, yes, yes, yes.
And then it was like coronavirus came and just made it like so much worse. Like, I feel that you just have a situation where the market sentiment is very, very bearish, overly so. Well, not sure what to make of that. Does that invalidate my trade? Not necessarily. Interesting. I think I should get out of it. Oof.
Pedro Garcia says weekday so far? Boring day.
It's definitely not a boring day. They've been moving quite a bit. The E-mini is really active for this time of
Gary
day.
Rich says the FX markets gave a tell. The VIX told us 2 versus 8. VIX told everyone something was coming. Sat all the new outbreaks were on the rise in Korea, Italy, etc., etc.
Well, I think that the markets definitely were poised to do something, but they needed a catalyst, right? The Italy thing ended up being the thing that pushed them over the edge. If it didn't happen, it probably would have died down. But I also kind of felt like towards the end of the week that, like, you know, I thought that there needed to be some buying, especially after the whole trade war thing. But then it was like, okay, at what point is enough enough? You know?
Lucas
There's
says
way
exactly.
too many wicks. There's way too many wicks here, man. Hmm. Well, that's not how you want to get filled. I don't know about inequities, but if that was how I got filled in treasuries, I'd be a little scared.
Pedro Garcia says even wicks it's a big wall. Odd wicks mean you have buyer baby. Wicks are the key.
Well, I mean, I see wicks on both sides. So it seems that you have large players with the ability to move market a few ticks on both sides here.
Gary Rich says wicks are good to understand. Pedro Garcia says which ones are longer. Uzi Knesset says Viki Wild Wild West.
On that one, if we say the middle is 3250, 5175, 4775, it looks like the buy side wicks are a little bit longer, but I'm not going to do the math in my head. Oh, I know what I can do.
Pedro Garcia says clue D.
Kind of depends on where you say the middle is. Well, that's not going to work.
Air Cages says hello. Where baby?
No baby right now. He's asleep.
Pedro Garcia says where is the 240 wick? Pedro Garcia says S. Gary Rich says when is the last time we opened down 800 on the Dow? Been a long time. I'm so happy.
I think it was like August, wasn't it?
Pedro Garcia says clue.
This area is too choppy for me to play in. I'm still I believe that at some point you're going to see a strong buy come in, and we'll see how far they get in the equity indexes. That is, notice that the treasuries are several ticks off.
Pedro Garcia says they are absorbing orders and I think it's going up, for bonus. Uzi Knesset says maybe around the open.
Yeah, or the top of the hour.
Anthony Monroe says congratulations for your newborn Seth.
Hey, thank
I
you.
have been pretty busy lately and never got a chance to congratulate you,
Yeah.
Liv.
Oh, you were here
Pedro
a couple of days
Garcia
ago, though,
says
weren't you?
lol. Eric Cages says everybody
Mhm.
use my Top Step Trader discount code AirCages50 to get 50% your next combine and begin your journey to profitability.
Oh, you have a top step one? So we have a code in Discord for the one-up trader that they gave us. They insisted on giving it to us. Hey,
Gary
if it
Rich
helps you
says
out.
last night and early in the morning they were slapping the dog crap out of people in gold and silver. Anthony Monroe says I just CE back from Miami, finally back home in Paris.
Darn. Yeah, that's not what's supposed to happen, folks. We're done. That was a stop run.
Lucas says 1.5 points. Lucas says a lil scary. Pedro Garcia says my mentor been in gold for about a week. 100k trade, 10 contracts.
I'm not entirely... There's some selling coming in here still, right? I think that we had a good spot. I think that last one didn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's still going sideways though. Do you see? They haven't been able to really break the bottom side of this yet. Okay, the treasuries did come back up though.
Lucas says S?
Yeah, I'm meaning yes.
Air Cages says is gold a good hedge against Corona?
I mean, it's been doing well. Interestingly enough, Bitcoin has not performed the way that
Uzi Knesset says Bud Light is a better hedge against Corona.
In fact, if we come over here and look at Bitcoin...
Lucas says I'd say sideways on the way down.
You know what? I need to roll Bitcoin over now. No? I think it's time to move it, to roll it over, but I guess not. It says February. I guess it's another week still. But look at the volume in Bitcoin. Like, there's a big sell there. But I don't think that Bitcoin is a good hedge because Bitcoin is all in China. So gold the better. U.S. Treasuries.
Pedro Garcia says CL is moving.
U.S. Treasuries
Lucas
is
says
great.
the key is the speed at which it falls each time they sell.
This to me at the moment looks like there's not a ton of participation in it yet. Like there's just one guy is pushing it down.
Gary Rich says gold up, 10 years yield down, all risk off for the moment.
Uzi Knesset says China scam money no do good with flu.
Right. I mean, look at treasuries. Treasuries have been a great safe haven. I find it interesting that when when it's safe havens, everybody always thinks gold. Why don't they think 10-year treasuries? Come on. Think about it. If this all gets worse, yes, the gold treasury is both going to move up. But eventually, this is going to blow over, right? Who knows how bad it gets before it does, but it's not like this is going to be the dominant factor in the market for the next 10 years, right? This is like a quarterly thing, okay? So when that subsides, what's going to happen to gold? Versus what's going to happen to treasuries? Well, in treasuries...
Air Cages says I don't trust the government.
The the Federal Reserve is not going to change
90
interest rate
Vitamin says a bit of
policy,
both is a good idea.
right? They're
Uzi
not going to
Knesset
change
says
interest
Yo
rate
isn't
policy.
wrong in China. All jokes aside, hope he's okay.
Yeah,
Anthony
he told
Monroe
us. He
says
told
smells
us.
like we are getting closer and closer to the big crisis, Seth.
He checked us in a couple of days. Checked in a couple of days ago and told us that he was doing okay. So, was not in that area. Hmm. Right there, maybe?
Sergio Ortega says morning. What do you know about market statistics, internal aspects of the market?
You have to be more specific. I'm usually only looking at like distribution profiles.
Lucas says I was just thinking about wrong.
Yeah, because of China. But I mean, the thing is this is not China anymore, right?
Lucas says hope he's okay.
10
Gary
year
Rich
over
says
gold?
oh
I
Seth you
do.
make me laugh. 10 years over gold. Man, you have a lot to learn.
If the trade is the coronavirus, then when the coronavirus is over, gold is going to get killed. And the treasuries are not going to come back as hard because it's easy money all the time, right? I don't know about in degree of the move. Which one obviously you probably get more leverage in gold. Gold futures, at least. Every time that, since I've been watching since 2008, every time that everybody tells me gets interested in gold, they get slaughtered. I remember when gold came down after the 2008 crisis. I think that
Anthony Monroe says coronavirus is a trigger to a new paradigm.
I still see a market that is very sentiment driven. And you guys are all telling me like this is the new big deal. How do you know? What is, you're guessing.
Lucas says what paradigm would that be? Air Cages says gold is the best store of value. Pedro Garcia says I think the hedge funds made the corona worse than what it is so they can sell off the S and push up gold. Gary Rich says gold is a store of value against future inflation which will come down the line. Pedro Garcia says I think it's all hype.
Future inflation, what? Future inflation? Sorry. There hasn't been inflation for
Anthony
years.
Monroe says all digital. Uzi Knesset says I don't know about new big deal, but I'm sure with equities at all-time highs, I'd understand if overall the market was afraid to lose those profits.
Not just that, but like, do you believe that the coronavirus is a inflation-causing event? That makes no sense.
Pedro Garcia says right.
Inflation has been low and is likely to remain low for a very long time.
Air Cages says everybody needs to shut up and buy gold already.
And I mean like the next 10 years, probably
Pedro
inflation
Garcia
likely
says
to be
what's
low.
up with that? No inflation.
Maybe even the next 20 years. Because there are
Gary
generational
Rich says the money
things.
printing and blowout fiscal budget, that's inflation.
Well, when you have the bulk of the developing world developing, that's going to bring inflation down. Right?
Pedro Garcia says yeep.
You have to compete with people overseas now. That brings down wages and that keeps inflation low. And when interest rates are low already.
Pedro Garcia says 1020. Yes.
Yeah, like this is not just the low inflation thing. I've decided it's not something
Pedro
that
Garcia
just goes away
says
tomorrow.
Yes. Gary Rich says okay Seth, let's bet.
Do you think that we will have hyperinflation?
Pedro Garcia says dude, I was thinking the same thing. Anthony Monroe says I work for Air France and we already lost hundreds millions in few weeks. Guess what's next?
So how would what would be a fair, really specific statement? I don't believe that we will have more than, let's say that the inflation target is 2%, right? So I don't believe that we'll have more than 3% inflation in a year for the next 20 years. That's maybe too specific, but okay.
Anthony Monroe says just with China FUD we lost millions.
I see a
Pedro
spot right
Garcia
there at
says 1890 to
32.46.
1920.
32.46. Okay. Actually, it's 32.45.50. Yeah. Okay.
Pedro Garcia says industrial revelation.
Revolution, probably, you meant.
Pedro Garcia says go CL go.
CL's just getting creamed, man. Man. So close.
Pedro Garcia says yeep.
Okay.
90 Bidevin says the global debt load may force governments to revalue gold at some point in a new currency paradigm.
I mean, I'm just super skeptical about that. People have been telling me that for the past 10 years.
Pedro Garcia says
happened.
yeah, go baby go.
Think that people underestimate the degree of control that the global financial system has over monetary supply and everything else like that. I mean, like, seriously, they have negative
Lucas
interest
says,
rates.
Seth, why are you not selling those mini S pullbacks with me?
There is.
Gary Rich says stop listening to the Where's Waldo in your head and get global macro. Anthony Monroe says we are having new cases in Italy. French people are getting paranoid. 90 Bidevin says own it, don't trade it, like insurance.
What were we saying? Y'all interrupted
Antenna
my
Wild
thoughts
says the question is how many people will buy the dip, or wait for things to bottom out.
Well, I think the plunge protection team is going to come in. If the market doesn't try and buy it up itself, I think the PPT will come in.
Pedro Garcia says insurance.
Okay.
90 Bidevin says gold, insurance.
Anyway, I don't know what I was going to say. Look, you have people, they have negative interest rates in Europe, and people still buy it. People still buy it. Like, honestly, what would it actually take for this whole, like, global currency fiat collapse thing to actually happen? I mean, it would have to be something insane. It would have to be like a war.
Pedro Garcia says right.
World War IV, and it would be crazy shit, It would be crazy shit. Okay, well.
Pedro Garcia says huge. 90 Bidevin says you may be looking at it right now. Uzi Knesset says we'd basically have to skip World War III lol.
Yeah, exactly. Like, come on.
Air Cages says Bitcoin will mute or fiat. Pedro Garcia says Antichrist stuff.
But again, it's been one of the funniest things about this coronavirus thing has been that a couple of people tried to buy Bitcoin and they've been buying Bitcoin and it's not behaving right.
WW4.
It's not behaving right. That's really curious. Like at 32.45.25, it's just completely gone quiet. 702.
Anthony Monroe says during the last 2 weeks, I met people at my job who bought cryptos. Something is happening, girls included.
Well,
Sergio Ortega says okay. Internal market statistics. Like the $ADSPD, Advanced Decline SP500 in shoes, in TOS or Sierra chart, they help a lot if you are looking to operate minimum or maximum session breakouts. Air Cages says Bitcoin is staying around 10K. Seems pretty good compared to few months ago.
yeah, so the other day, somebody pointed us out to a really good tool that shows you internal market statistics. I forget the name of it, but if you have the data for that, that's great. I don't get that data, so I'm out of luck on that one. But I'm not so sure with the way that I trade it that I really need to. Well, that one I thought was okay, but still not quite the setup. I need to be more patient. We might need to see like a real overextension. We're entering a new phase. I don't know, but like, look, the indicator says they were way too high. Not that's all I can really say. There's like the upper end of this is 12K, and we're already almost there. So I do see some activity. I mean, because we bought up, and of course, people are always going to be interested in it when it's just gone up. But I don't know. I feel like, I don't feel like this today, but there were times last week when I felt like that people were trying, it's like they come in and they're trying to convince you to FOMO. You know what I mean? That was definitely happening last week. That didn't work. What happened? Okay. They're buying and holding? Then why doesn't it show it in the blockchain? This is what I want to know. Yeah. I think they want that low there at 41.75. Look at the treasuries. Not only are they pushing highs pretty aggressively, but it's not all that crazy either.
Duper's Delight says yo yo, FOMO on that Tesla.
That was a funny, the Tesla thing. I am definitely not the person that likes what if I see something like Tesla or whatever it is and it's popular and everybody's talking about it, I don't want to be
Rick
anywhere
D
near
says
that
for
thing.
what it's worth, here are the S limit down hash S at 5, 7, 13, 20 up, down,
Okay.
something to be cognizant of. 3,503, 3,170 is 310300, 290300, 266900. Anthony Monroe says did you heard that some crypto YouTubers like Ivan on Tech and Chico Crypto have been blocked?
Yeah. Well, that was a long time ago, right? I was very upset about that one. Like they just straight up deleted their channel. They never did anything wrong. Such bullshit, right? They are certainly no longer can be considered carriers, can they? Okay. This is it right here.
Lucas says they are filling the gap. Anthony Monroe says nope, it just happened again. Pedro Garcia says I'm
No,
telling
I
you,
got a bad
CL, love this
spot.
short.
Shit.
Lucas says, ooh Seth, why would you buy there?
I got a bad spot. Come on. One more. No.
Anthony Monroe says Ivan has been blocked for 3 months, no live shows for 3 months.
It's ridiculous. I just, YouTube can basically do whatever the hell they want now, and nobody
Uzi
questions it.
Knesset says every spot in a sell-off is a bad spot, lol.
Pedro
Pedro Garcia says, what did you buy?
I saw a spot and I thought that I had missed the
Air
signal.
Cages says crypto YouTubers can suck it.
And then it came down again. So I ended up being a point higher than I wanted to be. Anyways, even though I guess that ultimately that one would have failed anyways, but this is definitely the area where I want to take one. Whether I'm getting the right specific location remains to be seen. They're fighting just at my price. They're fighting. That's not what you want to see, right? Oh my gosh. Oh, they give up so easily. All right, well.
Lucas says watching you buy this is like watching Alex Honnold free solo El Capitan.
I'm going to buy it. I'm going to do
Garcia
it.
says? Pedro Garcia says, what did you buy?
I buy it, yes.
Uzi Knesset says, oof lol.
Okay. Just, I had my plan. This was my plan. I'm doing it.
Antenna Wild says, how
Take the
low
loss
before
to take the loss.
PPT would step in?
I don't know. You usually don't see it as like a time frame, I don't think. In the past, I haven't seen it as a time frame. It's just like I've seen it two ways, and then later on we found out that it was PPT. One is that you will just see some really strong passive buying in the location. The other is that you will see the market way overextend on the short side.
Uzi Knesset says you ain't sweating and you keeping pretty frosty. Must be Sim Trade's face with tongue.
No.
Pedro Garcia says you're going to take a loss.
Don't tell me.
Gary Rich says every time the longs pop their head up, wham the shorts play whack-a-mole. Boing boing ouch.
The longs give up so easily. Don't you think? I mean, I think that what's going to happen, they're going to do the trade that I want, and I'm just going to straight up miss it. Okay, so there's a buyer.
Pedro Garcia says it's going down to 20. Uzi Knesset says if they do the trade you want, I hope that bitch is worth like 500 ticks.
Yeah, I would be, but like, I don't know. I don't know.
Air Cages says the markets are random. We're all crazy.
Something's wrong with my chart. Oh, maybe I got rid of it. That's weird.
Uzi Knesset says crazy like a carrot.
That's it right there.
Gary Rich says I'm so happy I might piss or crap my Depends diaper. Pedro Garcia says there's no buyer.
Could be it. No, it's too early. Too early in the bar.
Uzi Knesset says at Gary Rich grinning squinting face. RJ Wheels says morning.
Okay. Good morning. That doesn't look like that's going to hold either, does it? Aha. See, it's that sort of a thing right there. Nope. Oh, interesting. Okay. It's not like I haven't gotten any of these to go my way a little bit, but it's like they usually die out very quickly.
Gary Rich says, by the way, I ordered my eye catheter from Apple. Sadly, due to supply chain issue from Corona, there will be a delay in shipping. Oh, I'm so funny.
Your eye catheter? What? Where did that one come from? Oh, Treasury's come back a little clip there. It's been interesting how much
Pedro
the
Garcia says
Treasury's been
sellers are
trying to
coming
front
in.
run. It's interesting how much the Treasuries have been front running this, right? Okay. I don't know about that one.
Pedro
Okay.
Garcia says, told you they were going to go up.
Well, that what was going to go up? Anyways, you see there, 4 ticks up is like a huge struggle for them. But they're making it so far. I don't know. It's awfully negative delta there, man.
Pedro Garcia says bonds.
Oh, right. Well, they went up there for another good leg, didn't they? It was actually from 16 to 24. It was a really strong move. But they're showing me some indications that they got pause
Pedro
here.
Garcia says, look at the SMAs.
I didn't even need to do that. You just look at the chart here. It's been up. But see, they're hitting into that. There's a big old order at 25, and then they bounced off of it. 2 times, actually. 3 times. Nope.
Pedro Garcia says, serious, it's a weak area. Pedro Garcia says, weak area.
What area? 25 and the 10-year?
Pedro Garcia says it's going to go through it and rally.
Oh, the 25, maybe. Yeah, they bounced off of it 3 times. When you get a volume crescendo like that, they have to back off. Short term. Oh, look at that. Curious.
Gary Rich says I love double tops and double bottoms. They're my type of ladies. Pedro
What?
Garcia says it's key. Pedro Garcia says yeah, look at the wicks.
Well, the E-mini is starting to trade tighter now. Okay, buyers made another
Pedro Garcia says you're welcome.
little win there. Wow. But only to 38 still. That thing that they're in the treasury at 24, that makes me think that the momentum has maybe changed. Sure is fighting it though at 38. In the E-mini, they don't want it to go. Sorry if I'm not adequately responding to all your guys' comments, but keep them coming. Okay.
Pedro Garcia says it's buying time until the SMAs catch up. Pedro Garcia says S is going further down. Gary Rich says watching Jim Cramer just grasp for something positive in this current sell-off. Lol lol.
The buyers made their move right there, and then they just kind of gave it up.
Block buy.
I'm seeing sellers having a hard time extending down too, though. There's way too much interest in this area.
Lucas says damn it, each time I take profits it runs. Sergio Ortega says I follow at Verneman on Twitter. He is a former Chicago pit trader.
26.
Your negotiation plan is to find the minimum or maximum breakouts of the cash session, with internal statistics in your favor. Air Cages says ouch. Uzi Knesset says Jim Cramer had to open his mouth neutral face. Sergio Ortega says I have tried it and preview of the internal statistics work as a small movement that will make the mini SP500. If you allow me, I recommend you check it. Pedro Garcia says like a college girl.
So now I kind of want to wait for the open. It's actually really tight here. It's deceptive. But we've been here in like a 2-point range for the past 15 minutes or so, actually. Look at the treasuries pull back. Maybe.
Air Cages says trading is a
spot
sucker's
makes me
bet,
nervous.
folks. Random market theory. I just read it and it makes sense. We're all apopheniacs, I tells ya. Pedro Garcia says they are giving it up. Antenna Wild says coronavirus is a slow-moving drag, this will last for months. Lucas says sell top of range, that's where the money was so far today. 90 Bitavan says sorry I sold the notes at 175.
I chased that one. Something deaf happened there, but I chased it. I'm happy with it.
Air Cages says buy Corona. So much hype right now.
See that? That's like we could get stopped out, not even on a real loss, because we chased it. That was foolish. The treasuries really come back, though. I don't know. I'm really skeptical about Treasury's ability to continue moving up from here.
Air Cages says Seth, why do you keep picking the worst spots?
Some of my spots were really good, actually.
Pedro Garcia says gold at about to go up, above close of 1685.
That one was FOMO though, for sure. Like, I probably should have faded that area.
Pedro Garcia says really. Pedro Garcia says TN is going up.
Well, they didn't take very much to get through 32.35.
Air Cages says they were pretty good for shorting. Market's going down, man.
Just wait. Okay. That one was awfully fast.
Minster Games says the coronavirus is killing the market. Gary Rich says 5 minutes till open. Houston, we have a issue over. Red Squirrel, keep the pedal to the metal. Air Cages says look for a short Seth. Plenty of room for downside.
No. Don't try to convince me of a trade, please. Man. Wow. 32.12.
Air Cages says just trying to help. Sorry.
That's okay.
Lucas says I admire your patience with the audience.
Well, I'm so stubborn. If you tell me to do something, that probably just makes me less likely to do it, especially when you're all saying the same thing. You know what I mean?
Gary Rich says Seth, listen to the voice, go short, young
short.
Skywalker. Use the force.
No. I do see that there's 32.12 down below us that they might want to take, but jeez, that's like out there, right? That's like 20 points away. I think that through that whole area between 36 and 39 or so, there
Uzi
was some
Knesset
buying.
says if you go short, it'll be a boring stream. Who wants to just sit here and watch you ride a winner for 4 hours, face with
Right.
tongue?
Anyways, that
Pedro
move
Garcia
downward
says have
looks
fun
like they're
losing your
giving
money
up.
then.
It looks like them giving up. I mean, here's the thing, guys. You want to tell me that we're going to open down almost 100 points on the S&P, and then it's going to be a trend day down?
Air Cages says serious question. Why do you refuse to go short in an obvious downtrend day?
Well, if I'd seen an obvious short signal, I would take it, but I'm not seeing that. That's
Pedro Garcia says wow, we are not novices, we are trying to help you.
But it is not helpful to try and give me the trade. It's not. But I've been doing this for a while with this stream.
Lucas says I will say something eventually, but I know it shouldn't be too much because it's not really helpful.
My best trades are when you guys are telling me such shit like this and I ignore you. Just saying. Well, I don't want to take a trade a minute before the S&P 500 opens, but that right there was a buy. It's doing it again.
Gary Rich says yes, yes. As an Illuminati recruiter, I am part of the Death Star. Pedro Garcia says good luck.
That little dash down. Look at that. Okay, here's the open.
Pedro Garcia says have fun. Closing
I
square
want to buy
bracket.
32, but I can't. Not in that. Look at that. That's insane.
Pedro Garcia says this is going to hurt you.
Oh, it's okay. I will survive. But I'm not going to
Lucas
take
says
a
I
trade
will
in
use
that.
the open to take clothes to the laundry, BBL.
Oh, I like it 32 though.
Lucas says oh look that volume.
Shit, that's crazy volume, guys. You buy that. You buy that right there. Dung, dung, dung. Goodish. That was the first one that would have been good. Okay.
Gary Rich says yes, yes, 1000 coming on Dow.
Wild volume. Wild volume.
Air Cages says Seth would rather go down with the ship than listen to us unwashed masses lol.
Yes. I'd rather do my own thing. Man, I want to trade it so bad, but I cannot
Lucas
trade
says
that.
Longs really heard you when you said they gave up easy lol.
Yeah, but they were all waiting for the open, I guess. Because look at them come in on the open, man. Insanity. Okay, now I'm definitely buying.
Gary Rich says I hope no one is shaving while watching this market.
Oh, that did not fill, huh? Okay. What you gonna do? Miss it again? And trying to get filled on a limit order on this is hard.
Pedro Garcia says I need somebody to take the other side of my short.
That's what I'm taking it.
Pedro Garcia says thanks.
Man. It is so hard to get filled on a limit order, man. Wow. You guys still want to sell it?
Air Cages says you missed the long.
Yeah. All the way back there at 32 when I was like, really want to buy 32, but I can't trade it when it's this fast. Well, they might turn down a little bit more extended here now.
Pedro Garcia says yeep.
Okay.
Pedro Garcia says it's about to turn around.
Have to wait
Pedro
longer.
Garcia says they are binging all the suckers.
$45 is okay. They're sure building volume there in the 45 area. Some aggressive pushing. Be interesting if that 45 holds. Certainly some crazy absorption when they get down to that price. See that? Treasuries came all the way back. Hmm. Hmm.
Pedro Garcia says that's a nice wick on the long. I might reverse my trade.
Hmm. Still getting continuation signals here, but cannot pick a spot yet, fortunately.
Pedro Garcia says 240 wick is nice.
50 now. That's where we were. Well, it sucks that I missed all that, but
Air Cages says Seth just market buy.
all right, I should have. Probably should have. So 32.55 was the open of the previous hour. I wanted to cancel that. Oh well. Why is it when we're buying, you guys are so quiet now? I don't understand. Maybe I should be quiet because I missed the trade. Oh, I'm so mad. Oh, this sucks. But you know what? If they're going to do it on the open, I can't trade that. So it's okay. Sometimes it just works out that way, I guess. A change there, I think. I think that right here in the treasuries would maybe be a better trade and buy the 21.5 or something.
Pedro Garcia says I switch my position.
So at 50
Gary
there.
Rich says poor Kramer. The producer is probably in his earpiece. Saying stay positive, look happy, find something to be positive. Lol.
I mean, I
Eric
think
Pages
that,
says
that
Subki
Kramer
took
is
3
part of
losers
the
in a
PPT.
downtrend and missed 90% of the up move. Lol.
It was pretty bad, Eric Pages, I'll admit. You're right.
Pedro Garcia says when the markets are telling me something I listen, I'm not married to them. Masiak says hi.
They take the spots, I see. Well, I really want to trade this one, but I think I should hold off on this one. Hey, there you are. I was wondering where you were, Macy. I was like, he's not here. Okay. So is this a pullback, or are they going to reverse more? At the moment, this looks like a very good bull flag. Is that what it is? Bear trap bull flag. Shit. Okay.
Masiak says generally trend is down for now.
Wow. I have a hard time seeing how you would want to fight that open. Not for too hard, at least. Not touching 45, but
Gary Rich says don't mention technical analysis stuff to Seth, he don't believe.
Well, I need to see volume. You need to see volume with it. I think that if you have an indicator that's just based purely on price movement, that it's going to be of dubious utility. And I have yet to have anybody show me a hard statistical proof of something that's based purely on. Every time that something happens like that, and they say, okay, here's why I'm trading, and here's my stats, and then I go, yeah, but you're using volume. They always have like volume bars or something like that. Do I have to chase here again? Fuck. Wow.
Gary Rich says nothing is pure. Come on, man, lol.
Nothing is pure. I don't like that spot, but I don't think that I have much of a choice if I want to be long. Okay, sure. Some stops there at 55. But they didn't go through it. What? What?
Pedro Garcia says yes should come back up to 60-ish. Volume is key.
That was a really wild bounce, man.
Pedro Garcia says without volume you have nothing.
That. They came back so fast on that? That was not so crazy. Buyers still holding it though. I think that they could push up again, and then it could be maybe some more stops.
Pedro Garcia says you need all of it together and then you're good.
Cool. So I kind of want to take profits there, but it's so fast that I think it's better for me to try and hold the risk that I've gotten, because if I try and get in again somewhere else, it's going to be really hard again. So now we've got 32.59 to contend with.
Masiak says break even and don't close.
Yeah.
Air Cages says how fast is your PC and internet connection? A slow PC could leave you a few seconds behind the market.
No. I have an AMD a Ryzen 7 19 or 1700X. And I have a fiber optic cable internet connection. Okay, so that's the kind of action right there that starts to make me nervous. But they could continue through still. I mean, if they make another new high, it's going to be really good. Oh, come on. There you go. Come on. Ooh, look at that bid trying squeezing him. Okay, there you go.
Gary Rich says man you have fiber, I'm jealous.
Yeah. You have no idea how difficult it was for the city to get the fiber into. It took like 20 years, man. They were talking about it when I was in high school, so 15 years, really. That's Utopia. You can go and look it up. It was a real it's a real mess. That like Comcast and them fought it so hard, and because it's a city thing, like a city utility, you know, there was always fights at the town hall meetings about it. And but we got it. We got it. At least in my city, we got it, and it's pretty nice. I'm not paying for like the full gigabit connection, but it's still fast. Now, I would like to upgrade my CPU, but I don't think that that's holding us back. I mean, like if I come over here and show you like the task manager, right?
Gary Rich says I can get fiber if I move 5 miles away.
We're not even using a full 50%. Of course, when the market's moving, it's going to get higher. It could get up to like 60, 70%, but I can get fiber if I move 5 miles away, so do it. I think a fiber optic connection is worth moving to.
Pedro Garcia says I had a mentor tell me once, be thoroughly convinced until shown others.
Yeah, I did not like that one right there, folks. Shit. Anyways, 44. So, probably not any of that.
Gary Rich says remember I live in Kami, California.
Oh, shut up,
Air
Air
Cages
Cages.
says Seth is killing it lately. Making all the right calls today.
I think I had an okay call, but obviously the execution was lacking.
Uzi Knesset says he.
Okay, so after that one, I have to back off for a bit. It looks like the volatility is contracting. I could be wrong, but it looks like the volatility is contracting to me.
Pedro Garcia says otherwise is what I meant to say.
Well, that sucks the way that one happened, huh?
Gary Rich says party on Garth, party on Wayne.
What's this? Some bids stacking up in the treasuries. I think they might turn down here. Well, if you think that's that, why don't you take a short? Might. I might. Let's wait. Man, dehydrated a little bit today, I think. Like my lips are all chapped. I've already drinking almost a whole water bottle. See, I don't like this one because for me to really be like, ooh, okay, let's sell this, I gotta be at like 32.50, maybe 32.50, 4.50. I could. That's what Oh, come on. Shit. I thought that trade was okay, but it just did not get the downside that we wanted, did it? No, now it'll go and work out for us, huh? Yeah. Yeah.
Air Cages says I guess today is opposite day in Sethstonia.
Hmm. No, it's just with that much volatility, it's very unlikely to hold my stop, you know? So you have to accept that you're going to lose a lot. Look at those tails. What what is not good though is when it just immediately goes against you like that.
Air Cages says it's crazy that ZN is pretty much not moving at all.
At 22 half, yeah. Well, that's kind of why I favor a long here, but meh. See, the thing that keeps happening to me is I'm trying to catch the bottom of a range, and then they'll push through that, and then that becomes the top of the next range instead. That's been happening to me a lot. This one, it looks like maybe I've just caught a random spot, but because it's gone both ways on me. Hmm. Treasury fell down there pretty good. 22 half, 3,000. hit into it. Then it goes bid again. Now it goes offer again. So they're reacting to the struggle in ES here. They're getting pushes both ways still. Although the buyers seem to have a little bit of an advantage. Yeah, look at that one. Up way too easily. Really hard to say how far any of these moves can go to. Ooh, that was nice. Oh, it still didn't break out. The upside, though, the upside is 57.25. Oh, 58. 58, let's say. Yeah. Nope, they didn't break it. Take another shot there. Ooh, I don't know. It's so close. There you go.
Smash the Bid says Pedro is so wise. I hope I can be like him when I grow up.
Smash. Stop. You guys are so mean to each other. Come on. Good vibes. You all so quiet now
Pedro
that it's going
Garcia
up.
says Seth, ES is moving up, brother.
It's good so far. The plunge protection theme.
Pedro Garcia says 72.80-ish my target.
Now, I think that it's going to come all the way back and hit my stop first, and then maybe we will continue up. 3260 would have been a good place to take profits. This is not... Okay, we got time. This bar is not a positive thing at the moment. Did it take me out? It took me out. Okay.
Air Cages says there's a little bit of Pedro inside all of us.
Look, it's getting crazy again.
Pedro Garcia says D's nuts.
You know what? I never logged into Twitter.
Gary Rich says that's what she said. Air Cages says DJ Seth drop the beat.
Hu Shixin, the risk of virus spreading widely in China has passed.
Pedro
Wuhan is
Garcia
still in
says
lockdown.
the market went down first on the 5-candle.
While new infection cases are steadily decreasing, even disappearing in other areas, situation in countries such as South Korea is worse than China. Global trade and travel could fall to large-scale chaos, says Hu Shixin. Don't like the look here. I think that they're going to turn down.
Pedro Garcia says lol.
So I'm getting a short signal.
Pedro Garcia says you with. Masiak says this moving on S is crazy today. I try catch couple tick in every direction, face with tongue.
Yeah, it's way too volatile, right? Well, I have a short signal, so question is, what am I going to get here? Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I hate it when that happens. You get the big old order following it around. You see it 100 there.
Air Cages says Pedro stands unite. Gary Rich says close your eyes, pick a spot and click.
I don't know if they're going to give me a
Masiak
good
says
spot.
but this 2-candle on 5 meters is dangerous for short.
Well, I see a short. I don't know how much it's good for. 2 points at least. They don't seem to want to fill me though. I've been a little bit too close on the spots. Okay. Well, that's not necessarily what you want to see.
Air Cages says Pedro show us the way? Short or long to riches? Pedro Garcia says HG. Pedro Garcia says copper baby. Pedro Garcia says open.
Not really seeing the new shorts come in. So this one is looking like failed. A failed trade. Really? Man.
Pedro Garcia says okay, had fun today. Pedro Garcia says headed out, made my money, have a good day guys. Air Cages says Seth I think he's trading copper. Masiak says Seth I open to for short on 253.
I'm just not sure that this is movement that I can really trade. I mean, I think that I had a lot of good tells and everything, but it's just too volatile for me to hold the amount of risk that I want. That last one was at 54. and they took me out, and then they turned back down to 54. Like, see that? So that's just not. Should have just bought when it was on the open and being crazy.
Pedro Garcia says at Air Cages, don't hate because you can't trade. D.
Hmm.
Air Cages says Pedro give back Seth's money before you leave. You're a guest here.
No. The market's moving too much, folks. Look at that. Look at that. I just want to fade that.
Masiak says close.
Let's say I faded it at 55, even though it would have been really hard to get filled there. Hmm.
Gary Rich says cat fight. Meow watch the claws or fangs, lol.
So, man, they're battling it out. The treasuries are just kind of sitting here.
Pedro Garcia says lol. Pedro Garcia says Seth look at the wicks, with volume.
Well, I see wicks all over the place. I don't know if it's a buy or a sell. Right now, I have to favor a sell with a stop at the high of the day, which is two, you know.
Vincenzo C says well, I had a long signal at the open and let myself get talked out of it. Not gonna happen again.
Well, that's what happened to me too. Was I wanted to buy, but it was too fast, so I didn't buy. Okay, what's going on here in the E-mini? Or sorry, the treasuries. Some action at 22. $32.56 seems like a good price to go short.
Lucas says S came back by a nice margin.
Hmm. See, it's the same.
Lucas says did you
thing.
catch that uptrend, Seth?
I caught a little bit of it, yeah. It was too close to the open for me to really hit it, you know? Man, really? I was just thinking about
Pedro
scratching
Garcia
it and
says
then
go
the going
study about
stopped
wick
out.
theory, bud. It will help you out.
I honestly, show me a stat, Pedro. Here the new rule. If you want to say something works, show me statistics or don't bother.
Lucas says it probably won't.
Clicking a lot and they
Air
move
Cages
down.
says lol Pedro burned again.
So that might be a buy. I guess if I was going to do buy, it would have to be at 58, right?
Gary Rich says how about I'm a millionaire, how's that for a stat?
There you go. But this again is the problem, Gary, is that I don't know why you're successful. You might not actually know why you're successful. Like, one of the things that I found is that a lot of the best trades that you've shared with us are options, you know? So how do I know that, if you tell me something, look at this on micro futures, that it would actually work? You know what I mean? That's why you have to be able to show me the stats to show,
Air
like,
Cages
here's a bunch
says
of
Gary
trades
Rich
in
Monopoly
micro
money don't
E-mini
count, lol.
futures. Here's like 3 months of trades in the micro E-mini futures, and this is the strategy that I'm using, and this is what you get. You know what I mean? But not everybody has journalytics, unfortunately. So get journalytics. Show the stats for 3 months. Like, that to me would be sufficient statistics. It's a screenshot from your journalytics dashboard with one instrument selected and like 3 months of data or something.
Pedro Garcia says so let me say it like this, we are building a case, it's not just one thing, it's a few things put together, that is what makes the case.
Shalom. Yeah, what happened? He just stopped showing up, didn't he? We're getting some okay long side, but then it's coming back.
Lucas says Pedro reminds me of Shalom.
Forgot about that whole thing, right? Well, it's the whole thing of like, we want to be right. Obviously, we all do. Always, we want to win all the time. Okay, but I think that the thing that will happen with streaming is that a lot of the time, people will kind of.
Pedro Garcia says Wix with SMAs with volume and a clean area to run, then you have a good case to get in.
It's tempting to try
Gary
and live
Rich
vicariously
says, well, I'll show
through
my
me, right?
stats, but you first sign an NDA. And my
Sure.
NDA has a giant poison pill.
Sure.
Luis Alarid says ZN selling to 14?
See, it does that every freaking time. They give me a little bit of an out, and if you don't click it like right away, they just go down and take the
Air
stop.
Cages says Pedro wishes he was profitable.
Well, that last one was enough for me to say that I definitely can't trade this. So I don't know what you would put into an NDA that would have a poison pill, but I would probably be willing to do that.
Gary
Although,
Rich
I don't
says
know
I'm not joking. I don't joke.
why you would want that just to look at the stats of something. One of the things that bothers me is you tell people, hey, okay, so if it works, then show me stats. And they don't. Well, why? Because they don't have them. Most traders aren't tracking that sort of stuff to that degree, or they don't know. So I'll show you here in Jigsaw. Well, I guess it doesn't bother to show you, but in Jigsaw, there's a journalytics, which you can use to filter your trades and show all of the statistical measurements in Jigsaw. We've shown that. And then if you're a NinjaTrader, there's the trade analyte, trade performance right here. Of course, for me, it won't show you anything, but you know, you can select your time frame and filter things out, and it'll show you all these stats. Why don't people post those? You know, if you don't have that, you should. If you don't have a tool like that, you should get one. Journalytics is a great one. It's $50 a month though. I think it's $50 a month. Sometimes it's like markets punish you for ever letting you have a tiny profit, right? Well, so this is there's just too churny for sure, right? We missed a good trade. Now it's too churny. There's still a good chance that they're going to turn down. I think. Can I hold that much risk? Anyways, what was I getting at? There was something else because I muted you guys for a reason. Oh yeah. So there's this thing like we want to be right, but then I think one of the things is when we watch a stream that we want to like live vicariously through the streamer. So it's hard to watch somebody stream and do something that you wouldn't do, right? But that's not the point, right? I can lose or win or whatever, and you can just enjoy watching it. But what would be the point if I traded like you? You know what I mean? It's all about figuring things out on my own. But that's why I say, like, if I'm doing something and you have proof that it doesn't work, then show it to me. But just saying something's usually not going to convince me, right? Especially when I have things that have historically worked for me. I think that even today, I've had some okay trades based on the theory, but one, I think I'm way over trading it. And two, there's just no way that I'm going to hold 2 points of risk in this market, is there? So I really shouldn't be trying to trade it. Really shouldn't be trying to trade it. I think that we come down a little bit. Well, we did break the bottom of this. I think we come down a little bit, and then maybe there'll be another buy, and maybe we can make a higher high. I don't know. 8:21. It's time for me to go soon, anyways. Yeah,
Pedro Garcia says, actually, I will. Where do I send my states? I can just send over my stuff.
Just ignore Eric Cages. He's just trolling you. In Discord, there's a link in Discord, and go and like say something in the lobby first. Like you have to start talking first for us to see you and give you the permissions to post pictures. But then once you have the permissions, then you can post a picture and you could post some stats. You know, and then you can say something like, I'm using a moving average crossover or whatever the deal is. But that's kind of where it gets into this next thing that we already mentioned, which is like, hey, you're profitable. Why are you profitable? Because I've noticed that many people that are even don't understand themselves. They might think that it's this thing, and then I'll go back and back test it, and I'll show that that thing that they're talking about specifically doesn't have a positive expectancy, and you find out that really has more to do with something else that they're doing. You know what I mean? So, how do you set up a YouTube channel? Well, that's a way too far for. OBS is what you use. That's probably the best help I can give you on that because there's so many resources out there on how to do that. There's plenty. It's easy to start a YouTube channel. You should do it. What are you talking about, Lucas? Pick your language and stick to it with interpret the message. Yeah. Well, I had my thing.
Lucas
you know
says
what?
Pick your language and stick with it to interpret the message. Don't learn 5 different languages and have 5 different translators to translate the message to you at the same time.
The thing is you get these weird wicks, right? Like, not weird wicks, but like, so we're looking at the downside. This one I thought was going to be a reversal, but then it turned into this doji. This one I thought was good, and then it really fell apart, right? But then you get these ones, and then this is a shooting star of sorts. So this one actually ended up working, but see, it took so long, and we took a bunch of trades trying to catch it, and it didn't work out. Now they're like selling, and it's like back into the mode that it was before the open. Where it's like they can't even get it to come up 1 or 2 ticks. And the treasuries are bidding back up to 23. We shall see. Probably is, now that I've taken it, this is where the momentum will die down and they'll start buying it up. Yeah. And there's where it's like, okay, you could get out right there, and now it's going to go up and take out my stop. There we go. Paul Krugman, Bloomberg is not evil, but he shouldn't be in this race. Probably shouldn't be. The Bloomberg thing's so funny because he's hurting their chances. He's hurting the chances of a moderate winning. If Bloomberg and Biden dropped out, then it would be Buttigieg and it'd be over. That's never going to happen. Treasuries ticked back down there. Oh, well, isn't that interesting? Okay. And now you wish you were short, huh? Dang. Range still too wild. Look at that. Treasury is not really bidding up super strong yet, though. I don't know about that one. There's going to be this spot here at... Oh, they've already gone through it. Oh, man. See, this is taking it where all the volume is. I don't know if this one is too smart either. Well, we'll see what it does. Hmm. Oh. Okay. Man, when it ticks down, it goes, but then it's like goes like 2 or 3 ticks and stops.
Pedro Garcia says I'm short, ES now, looking for it to go down to 05.
05. 3205? That sounds a little crazy. Seth, have I ever asked you for your stats? No, I've shown you guys stats many, many times. Shown you many,
Pedro
many times.
Garcia says don't be married. Gary Rich says Seth, have I ever asked for your stats? No, I never will. You explain your chart or thinking and I can figure it out and test in my own.
When we go back, if we go back, I mean, I'm a little. They're not super good right now. I don't really feel like beating myself up over it right now. But when you look at it, my stats generally are like you do pretty good for a month and then you have a really bad drawdown. And some of those cases are strategy and some of it is mental. Like we've done that before, right?
Pedro Garcia says lol.
But if you're trying to teach somebody else something, I just think that you have to be able to listen. There's 3 edges, and that's it. Right? There's discovery, analysis, and execution. So this is the analysis part. If somebody shows you a strategy, oh, we need baby now.
He's gonna be hungry, so it's gonna be fun. Finish the kids and get them to school.
Here's your Binky. Hi. I was just arguing with the internet. Can I continue to do that? Is that okay? He's like, no, why is it so bright in here? Yeah, he's gonna cry. Anyways, the whole thing is the question is, if you get something, how do you know if it's profitable or not? How do you do that? The best way is
Pedro
to have
Garcia
is
says
to have
Seth's the
stats.
last wick on the 5 minutes candle explains the direction to the move that we have given up. Look at SMA 8 and 20. Look at previous wick. It's again the wall and we are in an area of it to slide down. Pedro Garcia says it will continue to the downside to 05 area. Pedro Garcia says okay, I'm out. You're welcome guys, I'll be back next week.
Okay, I'll see you next week. I think they might be able to make a new low. I'm just looking at the cumulative delta and it's extremely negative at the moment. This is crazy.
Pedro Garcia says yeep.
Wow, that one was not too bad. It's got out at 41. Okay, well, in the end, it looks like a down 80 bucks. Really should have waited until the open. It wouldn't have been so bad. Actually, maybe even profitable. But when that happens, you ought to be willing to accept to be wrong a ton of times with that tight of a stop, huh? Sometimes I can get it to run, and sometimes I can't. So. Well, since I got a baby here, I'm gonna sign out since I got that one, and I'm not quite sure what to think here yet. I think maybe this is a spot that maybe they could buy out, but the volume is very negative. Yeah, keep that pinky in, bud. So I will see you guys tomorrow. It's okay, not too much damage done. And I'm gonna stay profitable, friends.